Hey everybody, it's just me tonight. This is Wednesday night OWCP Chats. I'm Chris. Gini's over here in the background, not on video tonight because she has the flu. So we took her to the doctor today, and it's not COVID because I gave her a COVID test, so that's good. But it is the flu, and that's not good. So she's super sick, and she's not going to be on the video. However, she'll be reading out your questions to make my life easier. I have my computer in front of me too. I'm sitting in our new home office. We just moved into our new house. That was great, and it should have been awesome. It should have been like, we should all be just like thrilled right now. But after we moved in, a series of bad things happened. Not the least of which is that she's got the flu right now. Let's see, we moved in like 3-4 days later. Somebody came and turned our water off. So we were stuck all day long with no water. That was not awesome because it caused us to kind of skip some meetings that we wanted to go to because I couldn't take a shower or brush my teeth all day long. So that happened. And then we lost our grandmother. I think a lot of you know that, and that was terrible. I still haven't gotten past it. Neither is she. Obviously, it's her grandmother. So we went to New Jersey to the funeral. Those are never fun. Obviously, it was awful. Then we came back, and now she's got the flu. We were moving as if things couldn't get worse. A box of her makeup. Everybody knows how much Gini values her makeup, and that's a big thing to her. All of her makeup was stolen from us by one of the movers. So that wasn't awesome either. So it's been just like one thing after another. And here we are today. But we are in the home office. We're back. It's been 3 weeks since the last time we did chats. That's too long. Definitely missed everybody. It felt like that I wasn't doing my job because I wasn't on here helping you. So here we are. But tonight, I'm going to be talking about COVID claims. And there's really good news. There's a new bulletin that just came out. I mean, not today, but recently. And I was alerted to it by Tom that all of your COVID claims are going to be approved. All of your COVID claims are going to be approved. If your claim was denied, that denial is going to be overturned and it's going to be approved. And tonight I'm going to tell you how. Some of you will just have to wait and your claims examiner will automatically do it. But if you know me, you know how I feel about waiting. I wouldn't do that. Instead, I would take some specific actions, which I'm going to show you how to do tonight to get your COVID claims approved. If you're better and you think, well, what's the point? Well, what if there is and I read this today, and it was a really good point on a notice that OWCP put out, that well, what if you have a recurrence somehow of something that happened as a result of COVID and you didn't get it approved? Well, now you're going to be on your own and stuck. So don't do that. So if you're one of the hundreds of thousands of people, if not more, that contracted COVID, you're gonna have a chance to get help now. This has been a real. We get a lot of these questions on COVID. We get them all the time, and up until today, I've just accidentally answered them correctly, just by accident, purely by accident. But today I'm going to give you, or tonight I'm going to give you a lot better information. So before I keep going, I'm the only one on the video, so I forgot to tell you to share. Hit the share button, share, and like and follow. If you're here, it's simple to like the page and it's simple to follow the page. So hit like and follow and share it. If it takes you away, come back. But the reason you want to share is because you need other people who are federal employees to know that this is happening, because we're teaching on OWCP. And too many people say, gosh, I wish I would have known you 2 years ago. In fact, somebody texted me that today. She got her claim approved and said, I wish I would have known you a couple of years ago. Well, me too. Well, the way people can know us now and not a couple of years from now is if you share with your friends who are your coworkers. Okay, let them know this is happening so they can get the information too. You know, and if it's their first time, or if it's your first time, you can go back and watch all the videos because we never delete them. So every video we've ever done is there. You know, if you're somebody that wants to binge watch OWCP videos, these are the ones for you. They're the only ones. There's no other ones out there. And if there are, don't watch those because it's probably bad information. So like, follow, and share. I appreciate everybody that is here. It's kind of a small audience. We didn't really promote this very much, and we were gone the last 2 weeks anyways. So there may not be a lot of you watching, but you can increase the volume of people watching just by hitting the share button, and then you can help somebody else not be alone. Just some housekeeping things. I haven't done this in a while, but don't forget I've got these books, Breaking OWCP. You can get them at breakingowcp.com. That's breakingowcp.com, like my shirt. And they're cheap. I lowered the prices. I forget what I lowered it to. I think $11.95 for one and $17.95 for two, and I pay for the shipping, you don't. So go to breakingowcp.com and get the books. There's been some people in the last couple of weeks that asked me some questions about laws, specifically that were in the rules, laws, and regulations chapter. And I said, do you have the book? And they said, yes. I said, perfect, turn to page whatever. And it was really helpful to them. They were able to go to their supervisor and say, yeah, but what about this rule? That's the whole point. The whole point of this is to have information on demand right now when your supervisors do something wrong. We want to stop that problem. So go to breakingowcp.com and get the books if you haven't done that already. Many of you have, many of you have, and thanks for that. I know it's helping. We only get good reviews on it. So if you get it, you'll also want to give the next good review, and I'll appreciate that. Also, take the time to go to our newest website, which is called OWCPchats.com. OWCPchats.com. Sort of like Wednesday night, OWCP Chats, right? OWCPchats.com. You'll have to register. It's not that big a deal because I'm not spamming you. But the reason I ask you to do that is because I need to know where you're located. I need to know where you're located so that I know where there's a concentration of people that need doctors. That's a good way for me to know that you need doctors. So go to OWCPchats.com. Don't hesitate to fill out the information about yourself, because I'm not going to use it. I'm not sharing it. I'm not selling it, anything like that. It's literally just information so I know where to put doctors' offices. While you're there, you'll be able to get all the OWCP forms, and you'll also be able to get the free downloads that I created that are there to help solve most of your problems. So go to OWCPchats.com. You'll be able to download all those free forms that are on breakingowcp.com. But when you go to OWCP Chats, they're easier to get. They're free both places, obviously. They're there just to help you. But go check that out. And then go look at federalinjurycenters.com. We've just recently overhauled it. It's brand new. And if you go to the list of locations, you're going to see all of the Federal Injury Center's locations. As of right now, there are 35 listed. 35 in 15 states. Something like that. I may be wrong about that, but there's 35. About 17 of them or 18 of them are in Florida, where I'm at. So we're in the Tampa Bay area. In Florida, there used to just be like 2 offices or 1 office. Now there are 17 or 18. There's one everywhere. If you are injured in Florida, it's likely that there's an office 15 to 20 minutes away from where you live. And that's a good thing, because people were driving hours to get to a doctor's office in Florida. That doesn't have to happen anymore. So if you're somebody that's driving a long way to get to the doctor, we've got an office for you someplace in Florida that's going to make your drive much faster. And why does that benefit you? Well, among other things, from those of you that follow this regularly, if you're new, you're going to hear it for the first time. The surest way to get paid after a work injury is to clock in. If you can be on the clock, they'll pay you. When you're off the clock, you have to fill out a CA7, and you have to check letter A, LWOP. And when you check LWOP, you've got to jump through hoops. You've got to get proof that why you were out, what the doctor's rationale was. You got to attach a CA17, a CA20. You got to attach doctor's visits. If you're on the clock, you don't have to. So the reason that relates to having an office next to you, close to you, is because when you have to drive a long way to go to the doctor, you have to be off the clock for a long time. And you may be off the clock up to 4 hours of your work shift, meaning for half of your day, you've got to jump through hoops. Well, if you can cut that time from 4 hours down to 2, now you're on the clock for 6 hours, you only have to jump through hoops for 2. We'll help you jump through the hoops. We'll jump through them with you. But what we're doing for you is making it possible for you to get more of your hours on the clock, less of your time of LWOP, where they make you work to get your money. So check out those lists of office locations at federalinjurycenters.com. And I have something else I want to show you in a second, but check those out. Like I said, we're in many states, okay? There's 3 offices in Georgia, and there's 4 or 3, I don't know. No, 4. There's 4 in Alabama, 17 here, there's a couple in Texas, there's Louisiana, South Carolina, North Carolina, Maryland, Virginia, Massachusetts, Chicago, Illinois. Let me tell you real quick about Chicago. If you are in the Chicago area, let me see a bunch of like buttons and hearts. Let me know that you're in Chicago. Because Dr. Archuleo in downtown Chicago at 1749 North Wells in downtown, on July 14th from 6:30 p.m. until 8 p.m. is having an open house. And we're really excited about doing these open houses because it gives you and your friends, your coworkers, an opportunity, union reps, presidents, an opportunity to come meet the doctors, see the office, and get to know the doctors for when you're injured at work. Okay, so go check that out. It's going to be fun. Tell me the date again. Just say it out loud.
July 14th.
July 14th from 6:30 p.m. until 8 o'clock. So to give you a chance to get off of work and get there. Now, we know that sometimes the traffic is pretty hairy in Chicago, but try to make it. We'd really appreciate you coming by, saying hi to the staff, and letting them get to meet you. Yeah, that's July 14th in downtown Chicago, open house. So go check that out. I'll post something about that, or Gini will later. We'll post the flyer so that you don't have to remember the dates and times, but just try to make a note on your calendar. That'd be great. Yeah, I see people saying Ohio. I just didn't get to it. We've got an office in Ohio. We're working on getting a second one, maybe even a third one. We're well aware of the need in Ohio. We've got a lot of friends up there that we want to help that are federal employees. We really like working with our friends. You're all our friends, okay? So we like working with you, so we want to be there, and we're really working hard to get that done. Tom lives in Ohio now, and he's on it, okay? So we're getting doctors trained.
Somebody asked, is there an office in the future for Mississippi?
Yeah, there's going to be. The question is there, I don't know if you can hear her meek voice, she's too sick. So the question is there going to be an office in Mississippi? Yeah, so we've got a doctor that definitely wants to be in Mississippi. And I don't know how soon it'll be, but there's interest in that already. But to answer your question, is there going to be a doctor in, pick a state? The answer is going to be yes. We are a franchise. Our job, our mission is to put an office within range of every federal employee in all 50 states so that nobody has to drive a long way to get to the doctor. That's our goal, and so we're going to work our butts off until that goal is met. We're going to keep putting doctors in the areas that you guys are telling us about, which again links back to why I need you to go to OWCPchats.com, www.OWCPchats.com, and register there so I know where you guys are at. Right now we have like 110 people registered out of 2.8 million federal employees. You guys can do better than that. So take a moment when we're finished here, or go on your computer if you're watching this on your phone and go to OWCPchats.com. Please register, grab the free forms, look at the information, but that'll help us help you. So do that for me, and then that'll help me give doctors to you.
Sonia Summers says, is it a CA7 and a CA7A? Must be completed if you're working less than 8 hours. Must be filled out every end of the pay period, day 14.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're filling out a CA7, claim for compensation, you're likely filling out a 7A if your time is intermittent. The CA7A means you weren't off continuously for the whole period of time listed on the CA7. If you are listing, say, 2 weeks of time, but during that 2 weeks you went to work 5 times, that was intermittent. You would need a CA7A. Or if you worked half a day, that would be intermittent. You would account on the 7A for your time on the clock and time off the clock. So great question. Thanks for that.
Deborah Brooks says, I go back to work and not at 100%. Will it hurt my work comp case? The post office won't let me come back till my work comp is approved or I'm at 100%. I had rotator cuff surgery on January 22nd with 2 tears and a bone spur. So I'm definitely far from 100%. Eric done a reconsideration for me on May 3rd, still nothing yet.
So yeah, once your claim is accepted, the rules say that the post office, any federal agency, is required to offer you a limited duty assignment that matches your CA-17 restrictions. So you definitely got to work on getting your case accepted. That's super important. If you are somebody who's in an area where the doctors are getting claims denied, consider giving us a call. You can go to federalinjurycenters.com, and if there's an office that's close to you, the phone number of that office is going to be listed. Call them directly. And the reason I say that is because we're not a referral service at Federal Injury Centers. We're not here to facilitate referrals between injured workers and doctors, okay? Our job is to train the doctors and make them available to you so that you can find them, because it's your right to choose your own physician. Nobody can choose for you. Nobody can get in the way of your choice. Nobody can penalize you or punish you for choosing your own doctor. You can go to any doctor, including at a chiropractor's office. This is not against the rules. You can do it as long as there's a medical doctor. And all of our offices have medical doctors, okay? Almost all of them have nurse practitioners or PAs to go along with the MD. And then they also have the chiropractors and or the physical therapists and physical therapy assistants, who are all licensed people. So you have the right to choose your own doctor. Nobody can get in the way of that right. So I respect that. So instead of me telling you where to go, why don't you just go look? And if you see one that you like, I'd like you to just call them yourself, because it's your choice and we respect that. So federalinjurycenters.com.
Kansas City, Missouri here. How's it looking for my area, and what's going on with Las Vegas and Arizona?
All right, so Kansas City's looking fantastic because we got a doctor who's on board. I'll be talking to him in a couple of days and seeing where he's at. He was at our big training event at the beginning of June. And so at this point, I just need to follow up and see what's going on. But yeah, you're all set in Kansas City. And Las Vegas is tough. I don't know what to tell you about that one. We may need to just go and find another doctor, because the one we're trying to work with there, his lawyer's kind of tough to deal with. What are the questions?
That's it for now, so you can go.
Okay, so let's talk about, now this one's good. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how to find this stuff, and then, I'm going to answer your questions. All right, so you can first of all go to dol.gov, and I'll post a link to this website. I'm going to post the link to this website online. But what they did is on May 6th, so it's been a couple of months, but on May 6th they put out an advisory that basically says, all right, any COVID claim that was previously denied can now be approved. And it says, in fact, let me just read these. Number one, any COVID claim filed under FECA that was accepted, okay, it was an approved COVID claim, will not be impacted. It was approved, good for you. But number two, any COVID claim that was filed that was denied or withdrawn prior to March 12, 2021 is now eligible for review under the new eligibility requirements, which means it can be reconsidered and overturned. And number three, any COVID claim filed under FECA on or after March 12 will be reviewed solely under the new eligibility requirements. And the new eligibility requirements are pretty great. Let me tell you what they mean. Let's see. Sorry. This is all new to me too, so I'm kind of reading it, learning it. But basically the eligibility is this. If you had a positive COVID test, you're going to be approved. Show the test, okay? If you had a positive, what's that test where, antibody test, show that, it'll be approved. It can even be approved if you didn't have a positive test, but your doctor can adequately describe that you had symptoms that were COVID. And in fact, it says if your COVID test was negative, but you still had all the COVID symptoms, you can be covered. So they're gonna approve almost every COVID claim, which is great news. So the way you do it is you have to go to eComp and fill your CA1 out on eComp. And that's very important because of what I'm about to tell you. If you fill it out on eComp, which it's not if, you're required to do it, okay? It says form filling process, the Employees Compensation and Management Portal, eComp. And by the way, I've been doing OWCP for a long time. Today's the first time I ever knew what eComp meant. ECOMP means Employees Compensation and Management Portal. Live and learn, so now I know. So eComp should be used to file new claims, as the form filling process in eComp has been updated to assist claimants and employing agencies with filing claims specifically for COVID-19 on a CA1. So COVID-19 claims are always on a CA1, 100% of the time. You never put one on a CA2. If a supervisor says put one on a CA2, they're wrong. It's a CA1, so don't allow that. You're gonna fill out a CA1 on eComp. And when you do that, your portion is you're gonna fill out the date and time the injury occurred, or COVID. And it says here, the claimant is asked about the last date he or she was exposed to others in the work setting prior to the onset of COVID-19. That is your date of injury. So you have to decide what day which may not be exact, so do the best you can. What day were you exposed? That's your date of injury. The cause of injury is number 2. It says the claimant is asked to explain what individuals he or she was exposed to in the workplace and the nature and extent of the interactions. So what they want to know is who did you come in contact with that you believe is how you got sick. And number 3, nature of injury. The claimant is asked to explain the symptoms related to COVID-19, whether he or she has received a positive test and whether he or she has consulted with a medical professional. So what they want you to do is just say, what are my symptoms? Well, I was coughing a lot, I had high fever, I couldn't taste anything, whatever your symptoms were. And so it's going to ask you that. You get to fill that out through eComp. And then the last thing you do is upload attachments. The claimant is asked specifically to upload a copy of a COVID-19 positive test result and any documentation of interactions with a medical professional. In other words, the doctor's narrative report. So our doctors are right now being trained to write these reports. In fact, I wrote a new policy just yesterday for our doctors on how to write a COVID narrative. So if any of you, and I understand there's a lot of you, we have a bunch of prison employees. That was a real problem with prison employees. But we have several of them, like 2 handfuls in the Tallahassee, Florida area. They're going to be going to our Tallahassee office, and that group is going to be helping you get all of your COVID claims approved. And all of our offices will do this for you, help you get your claims approved. So if you need that, like I said, go to federalinjurycenters.com, look for an office near you and give them a call because the phone numbers are going to be there. And I'll be working with them to make sure they do the right job for you. Now your supervisor has got to do, you had 4 things, okay? They have 6 things. They have to, because it's their portion, the second page of the CA1, is what they fill out. So that's what this is. Performance of duty. The employing agency is advised to only indicate the employee is not in performance of duty if the employee was not working or was teleworking on the date of injury. So, or if the supervisor disagrees substantively with the employee's description of injury. All right, well, if the supervisor says you are not in performance of duty, be sure you got to get a copy of this stuff anyways. But if they say that to you, if they write on box 28 that not in performance of duty, get a copy of that and take it to the doctor because we'll make them famous. We'll definitely address that in our narrative reports and make sure your claim gets approved. Second, third-party liability. This says the answer to this question will default to no third-party liability for COVID, so it's not going to apply. 3, anatomical location, nature of injury, cause of injury. It says these responses will be automatically filled in accordance with the codes in Section 3, Part 2 of the Bulletin. In other words, the supervisor won't have to fill that in. It'll be automatic. And then number 4 is agreement with the employee. The employing agency will be advised to only indicate no if the employee was not working or was teleworking on the date of injury, or if the supervisor disagrees substantively with the employee's description of injury. So if that's the case, we need a copy of it so we can address it in our narrative. 5 is controversion of COP. The employing agency will be advised to only controvert COP if one of the specific 9 regulatory reasons applies. That reason must be selected and explained. In other words, the supervisor can't just arbitrarily not pay you, which is good news. And 6, the CA-16, which is a question that came up before. The employing agency is prompted to provide a CA-16 if they do not substantively dispute the employee's description of cause and nature of injury, and if the claim was submitted within 1 week of the date of injury or the date the employee had symptoms of COVID-19. Issuing the CA-16 will allow the claimant to obtain the necessary test to confirm COVID and receive medical treatment if indicated. So what this is saying is you have to report within 1 week of your symptoms at least, and if you do that, you can get a CA-16 and cover all your bills. Everyone knows how important that is. You must get a CA-16 anyways. So don't let your supervisors not give it to you because the rules specifically state they have to. The link that I'm going to post in Wednesday night chats after this is going to give you all this stuff that I'm reading here. I just happen to be reading from the email that I'm sending out to doctors at Federal Injury Centers so that they know what to do. So this is I'm highlighting it here. So what questions are there right now related to COVID?
None so far.
None?
Oh no, it's the bottom. Teresa says, is there such thing as a schedule award for back injury? 3 people wanted to know.
So the question is there a schedule award for back injuries for the spine? It's yes and no. It's no, unless that back injury causes symptoms into your arms, hands, legs, or feet. If you have symptoms radiating into your limbs, then you can get a schedule award. It doesn't mean you definitely will, but you are not automatically ineligible. You still can get it.
Dorinda says, I'm told that DOL will not authorize chiropractic visits even though work comp doctor ordered it.
Okay, so the question is, will DOL authorize chiropractic visits? The answer is yes. 100% the answer is yes. Here's how it works. Your chiropractor has got to do an x-ray. They've got to find what's called a subluxation, where something's out of place. Then they've got to be able to prove that subluxation is related to the work injury. Once they prove it's related to the work injury, the Department of Labor will begin allowing treatment by a chiropractor. This is in the rules. It's in the Code of Federal Regulations. Letter A in the code that I'm referring to says chiropractors can do chiropractic stuff. So yeah, absolutely, they'll cover that.
Duchess Teresa said, hello Chris, my work compensation case was accepted.
Congratulations.
F410, F411, F331. I just received my disability retirement, been out of work for over 16 months. I can't find the CA7 OBM number 12400016.
You're looking for a CA7, just go to federalinjurycenters.com and check out the OWCP forms tab and you'll be able to get one there. Hey, good job on getting your claim accepted. Congratulations.
Mary Golden said, so make sure your dates reflect the day you were on the clock.
Oh yeah, I mean, okay, number one, so she said make sure your dates reflect the day you're on the clock. All right, so Mary can say that. What I will say is be sure you're truthful and accurate with your date, and know that if you weren't on the clock, you probably will not have this covered as under OWCP. You had to have been in the performance of duty on the clock when it happened.
Sonia Summer says, is it a time limitation to see your own doctor after date of injury that have an opportunity to be accepted as your covered OWCP specialist? ? I heard you have 72 hours to see your own specialist to be covered by OWCP by sending a narrative report from your choice specialist in order to be accepted as your OWCP specialist under DOL.
No.
Sonia.
So, Sonia, you have the right to choose your own doctor at any time. The rule says you have the right to initial selection of physician. Initial selection means first, your choice. It doesn't say you have the right to initial selection if it's within 72 hours. It says you have the right to initial selection. Of all the rules related to selecting your physician, none of those rules have any time limitation. The only time limitation is that you have to report your injury within 3 years. If you do that, you select your own doctor. It's your right to select your initial physician. No time limits on that.
That's it for now.
Okay, so do we have any COVID questions? I mean, I came up with this thing as my primary topic. Let's make sure we all understand. You're going to go to eComp. You fill out your CA1 on eComp. The portal is set up so that if it's a COVID claim, it doesn't make you jump through hoops, and it doesn't really spend that much time with a supervisor trying to get your claim denied. Definitely don't avoid it. If you had a denial already, go ahead and do this thing. If it was denied, go find a doctor who will write a narrative report explaining that you had COVID. It's really easy for the doctors to do this. What I'm telling the doctors is, number one, list where the patient works. So we know you're a federal employee. You have to prove, number one, that you're an actual covered employee. And what your craft is, what your job title is. And indicate that the patient is indeed a covered employee under FECA. Number two, the doctor's got to list the date of exposure. This is the date of injury on the CA1 form. So the doctor's got to, in his report, list the date that you were exposed to COVID. Number three, the doctor is going to detail how the exposure occurred. Contact with a customer, contact with an inmate who had COVID, etc. I said here, the employee is deemed to have had exposure if, during the covered exposure period, he or she carries out 1, duties that require physical interaction with at least one other person in the course of employment, or 2, duties that otherwise include a risk of exposure. So the doctor's got to be able to write that. That's their detailed explanation of how it happened. 4, the date of the positive COVID test or positive antibody test. Include the actual positive test results when possible. And if no positive test is available, then a COVID-19 diagnosis from a physician, together with a rationalized medical opinion supporting the diagnosis, will get the job done. So even if you didn't have a positive test result, you can still get it done is the main point. Number 5, if the claim was previously denied, a detailed explanation of why it should be accepted. And 6, the covered exposure period, which the evidence should establish manifestation of COVID symptoms within 21 days of the covered exposure described in number 2, which is a date. So our doctors know to do this. They're going to write these reports really great. If you were denied, you'll want to attach this report that the doctor is going to write on eComp. The doctor can just give you the narrative, and you can attach the report on eComp when you're filling out your CA1.
Melinda Malone says, is it normal for the post office to assign you a nurse to go with you to all your doctor's appointments? I feel like this is an invasion of privacy.
So the post office cannot assign a nurse. Okay, let's be clear. The claims examiner assigns a nurse. Nurse case managers are assigned, and their job is to facilitate an efficient process through OWCP. They're there to make sure the doctor's doing the right job. They're there to make sure that you don't have any questions that are going unanswered. And they're there to help you get back to work. Sometimes a nurse case manager just gets in the way. And if they're doing something that's not good for you, you can call the claims examiner or write a letter to the claims examiner requesting that nurse case manager to be removed from your case. As long as they're on the case, they have to be allowed to communicate with the doctor, but they don't have to be in doctor's visits with you.
Dorinda said, can you receive physical therapy and chiropractic services at the same time under DOL, or is it one or the other for back injuries?
No, it's whatever's medically necessary. If your medical doctor evaluates you and says you need physical therapy and chiropractic, you can have them done on the same day. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You can have it done during the same visit.
Janie Johnson said, if you have complications from the COVID vaccines, would you be able to make a claim for being out of work?
Oh, absolutely. Of course you can. So if you have complications from COVID, you can make a claim for being out of work. And in fact, when your claim is approved by COVID, when your COVID claim is approved by OWCP, then all the same OWCP rules apply as far as how you get paid when you're off work. You can be eligible for continuation of pay if you report within 30 days. You can be eligible to be paid for time off with your CA7s, just like any other OWCP injury.
Mary Golden was sharing this. When a doctor asks how you were exposed, please give them all the details of your work environment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the doctor needs the most details possible that are true and accurate in order to write a great narrative to get your COVID claim approved.
Rich Ray is on.
Hey, Rich, what's up?
Jay Love said, if you're on retirement disability, can your injuries be upgraded if your injury caused the new problem that you're having?
So if you're on retirement disability, can your condition be expanded? It's called a diagnosis expansion. And if you're on disability?
Yeah.
If you're out of work on federal disability.
If you're on retirement disability, can your injuries be upgraded if your injury caused the new problem that you're having?
Okay, if the injury caused a new problem. That's called a consequential injury. And yes, a consequential injury can be added when you're in retirement. It absolutely can.
Leek Monroe said, who can I email if I have a union steward complaint?
Like a complaint about a union steward? Well, I'd start by going up the chain of command. I'd go to the union president.
Yeah, Mary Golden said you're union president.
That's what I'm saying. Well, okay. Mary Golden said union president. She's right. But you go to the next chain up. If that doesn't work, then you call whoever's above them, an area rep or whatever. Call the national office. Hopefully you can resolve it without having to do that, though.
Dr. Arcoleo is on.
Hey, Dr. Arcoleo. In Chicago, July 14th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. open house. Tell your friends.
Oh, Jennifer said, Chris, she asked about complications from COVID vaccine, not COVID.
Oh, well, if there's complications from a COVID vaccine, you'd be covered on that too, because either way you had COVID and all the complications that come from it, any symptom of it, anything that happens as a result is going to be covered.
Mary Golden, thank you. She asked for me to get better. Dr. Arcoleo posted his event.
Great. So check that event out. Dr. Arcoleo posted it. Thank you. So now I don't have to.
Dr. Arcoleo said food, live music, and fun.
Food, live music, and fun.
Yeah, that's all so far.
Okay. I like food and fun. Live music, obviously, I love.
Let them know we're not going to be there because some people thinking we're going to be there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Gini and I can't make it. I'd love to be able to, but we're in massive training mode. So like next week, especially next couple of weeks, we're gonna be driving all over Florida, visiting offices and finalizing training.
Those of you that are in the big post office, make sure they attend. They're all on here saying that.
Yeah, hey, that big post office right by downtown Chicago, man, you guys all need to be there. You should pack the house. It'd be shoulder to shoulder. That's how it should be. There's a lot of people working there. 2 out of 3 injured postal employees have denied claims. That's just terrible. 1 out of 3 has approved claims. But when you go to a federal injury center's office like Dr. Arcoleo, it's more like 3 out of 3 have accepted claims. So, if you like that good winning feeling, you check out federal injury centers in Chicago. If you love to lose, call somebody else, because we don't do that.
AFGE is invited as well.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. AFGE, all federal unions, we love everybody. Please show up. What else?
Nothing yet.
Come on, give me some more questions. What's up?
Maybe you should explain the complications versus the COVID vaccine.
Well, I don't know how to. Okay, so I've been asked to explain complications from the COVID vaccine. From the vaccine versus COVID. Okay, so I'm not a doctor, and I'm not going to be able to expertly tell you what's the complications versus being sick. But either way, if you have any problems related to a COVID diagnosis, they will be covered, regardless. It doesn't matter if it's to complications of the vaccine, or if you were in the hospital, God forbid, and something bad happened in the hospital. If you had bed sores, they're going to be covered, okay? It was because of COVID. So anything that happens as a result of your COVID diagnosis is going to be covered once the COVID claim is approved.
Dorinda says, will you be training any doctors in the Tallahassee, Florida area?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, because we have a doctor in Tallahassee who has had a lot of training. I'm actually speaking with him on the phone tomorrow. He's the first doctor that is learning how to get these COVID claims approved because of the prison up there. So absolutely, yeah, we're ready to go in Tallahassee. We can start helping patients right now up there.
Mary Golden said, I've passed out brochures and sent messages to Chicago people.
Well, Dr. Arcoleo really appreciates that, Mary. Thank you so much.
That's it so far.
Okay, well, while I'm waiting on more questions, there was an issue. I was speaking with Tom earlier, and Tom's from Massachusetts. Although he lives in Ohio, he's from Massachusetts. And Tom told me that what I'm about to say, I shouldn't be my normal nice guy. I shouldn't have that same normal nice attitude, because people in Massachusetts don't respond well to that. So, if that's true, if you're from Massachusetts, give me a bunch of mad faces, because I think that's more appropriate, based on what Tom told me, than happy faces. So I'd love to know who's from Massachusetts right now. And mad faces will at least show me who is the Massachusetts person versus the hearts and the thumbs ups that are coming.
Just one little mad face.
Okay, well, so far we found one.
Joanne said, I've been trying to get a schedule of work for bilateral carpal tunnel. Will federal injury centers be able to help with this? I've been retired since September.
Yes, all of our doctors are required to be trained on the 6th edition to do impairment ratings. So let me get to this. This is really important. So in Massachusetts, Federal Injury Centers has offices in Norwood and Quincy. Those are suburbs of Boston. And for some reason, the unions there, not all of them, and I don't want to say which one, okay, but there are some union people who don't want you to go to Federal Injury Centers. I don't know why, okay? They want you to go where they tell you to go. And it's causing problems because denials, like nationwide, 1 out of 7 people has an accepted claim. 6 out of 7 are denied. Why do you think that is, okay? They're denied because doctors aren't trained. They don't know what they're doing. So I was actually in Massachusetts, like 2 years ago? And I went to a union hall to just say, hey, I'm Chris, can I teach your people how to get their claims approved? And I was literally asked to leave. I wouldn't say I was kicked out, but I was kicked out, I don't know why I would be kicked out of any place when all I want to do is help for free. I don't want anything in return. As you all know, you don't have to go to a Federal Injury Center's office to get trained by me. Here you are watching. I'm grateful you're here. Feel free not to go to Federal Injury Centers. No problem. It's your call. Like I said, choose your own doctor, but choose wisely. But for some reason, there's a problem in that area with certain union folks being able to choose their own doctor, because if they choose a federal injury center's doctor, they're encouraged not to. So I don't know what that's about. So all I want to tell you, and I'm trying to be as nice as I can, but Tom told me not to. So I want to tell you, if you don't want to get screwed over, call federal injury centers. Is that too rough?
No.
But really, that's the truth, because we're really good at it, and we don't have any offices that are better trained than the Quincy and Norwood offices. They're the best trained offices we have. And
there's rules on they can choose their own doctor.
yeah, I mean, look, the rules are clear. You can choose your own doctor. Now, I respect unions. You folks that are on here know, especially like Rich, who's a NALC president in Staten Island. All the union folks know I love you. I respect you. I'm a big fan. Okay, in many cases, we're great friends. So it kind of hurts my feelings when I get kicked out of a union hall when all I want to do is help. So if you're in the Boston area and you want some help, don't let someone tell you not to get the right help. Go to federalinjurycenters.com, and if you see an office you like, choose it. Nobody can get in the way of that. And all that will happen if you choose one of those offices is you'll get a claim approved. If that sounds like your thing, then give that office a call. That's what you need to do. So, pass it along. This is not me bad-mouthing unions. I don't want to do that. But there are individuals who may not have the best intentions. And if that's the case, maybe don't listen and do what's in your best interest. Bottom line, do what's in your best interest.
Deborah Brooks said, if you receive a settlement on an injury and later re-injured, can you do another claim?
So a settlement on the injury, I hope you're talking about a schedule award, because that kind of feels like a settlement. And if later on you have a recurrence, you definitely can file a CA2A. If you have a new injury on the same body part, you can definitely file a new injury. It doesn't matter that you had that schedule award. You can always file CA1s and CA2s when they're appropriate to file.
Kelly said, I've been approved for the COVID and they are paying medical but denying my CA7. DOL kept saying the doctor needed to be more specific. The doctor finally got them the information they wanted, and now DOL is saying they're sending it up to district medical advisor. I've been trying to get my CA7s approved since April 12th this year. What can I do? So
you got to take your denial letter. So when you get a denial on payment, they send you a letter in the mail, as I'm sure you know. You got to take that letter to the doctor, let them read it, let them find the paragraph that says specifically it's denied because, and have them address that in their narrative report to overturn it. And then you can get paid. But what's happening is you probably need a disability narrative where the doctor's explaining exactly why you're off work. Like, I can't believe anybody at this point has to even have a conversation about why somebody with COVID might be off of work. COVID is one of the most contagious viruses I've ever seen. Millions of people worldwide have died because they're in contact with people that had COVID. So that's why you're off of work. And if I were the doctor, I'd probably write it more sarcastically even than that. But that's what's required.
Tona Fieri said, was or is there a grand opening for Arizona? They haven't returned my calls.
So we're...
I will let Dr. Heaton.
Yeah, so we have a good friend in Tucson who has verbally said he's coming on board. I know he wants to. I know he does. Okay, I was just talking to Tom about him today. So we're going to follow up with him and get this going. Dr. Heaton, if you're watching, you're on the clock, buddy.
Melinda Malone said, is it normal for supervisors to wait a week to get you a CA1 form? This has caused me to lose 2 weeks of pay and a delay in medical attention. Is there a federal injury center in North Alabama?
So not in North Alabama. The closest federal injury centers in Alabama to the north is Birmingham or Bessemer. Dr. Harper is absolutely, by the end of the year, beginning of next, going to be in Huntsville. That's as north as you can get. Is it common for supervisors to wait a week? Yeah, it's common for supervisors to do all kinds of stuff that's against the rules. I think you first file a grievance, go to your union and file a grievance. If your union won't do that, do it yourself. And also, I would consider calling OSHA, which is 1-800-321-OSHA, and ask them if it's a violation for your supervisor not to fill out your CA1. I'm not telling you to call and make accusations. I'm telling you to call and ask questions. Is it a violation for your supervisor to not fill out your CA1?
Madeline said, finally got my claim approved through Federal Injury Centers of Norwood in Massachusetts.
That's right. Madeline got her claim approved in our Norwood location in Massachusetts. And thanks for saying that. The reason that is because that's what we do. we get claims approved. That's our thing. Like, you can have a lot of things. That's our number one thing. We get claims approved. You can go anywhere to get a denied claim. Like, how do I know? Because 6 out of 7 people nationwide have a denied claim. You can go any place. If you want to experience a denied claim, no problem, okay? ERs, urgent cares, orthopedic surgeons, family doctors, family chiropractors, VA doctors, okay? Base doctors, if you work on a military base. You can go to any of those places and get a denied claim. All the time. ERs, if I didn't say that. All the time. You can go to any place you want. But if you want to have an approved claim, you look up federal injury centers and see if there's an office near you. And if there is, call it. If not, Google OWCP injury doctor in your city and see if there is one.
Joni said, I've been trying for some time on this schedule award. My doctor has been wonderful. However, he says he doesn't understand what DOL wants.
Well, that's easy to understand. So in my books, Breaking OWCP, Volume 1 and 2, that's Volume 2, especially Volume 2, I wrote a chapter on how to calculate your own schedule award. And in Volume 1, I just wrote a lot about schedule awards. But there's something different in both books. So you definitely should look at those. You may be able to help your doctor. It's confusing. It's very, very, very confusing. But if the doctor understands what's in those books, they'll have a better chance. And if they have training on the 6th edition, they'll have a better chance too. But our offices are working on getting trained on how to do schedule awards. Right now, I'm just trying to finish training on how to do intake and write a narrative report. If we can get that done, we're going to make a significant dent in OWCP. Schedule awards is coming.
Mike Fox says, my claim was denied last week. I'm working on getting a lawyer. I know management is doing something not nice behind the scenes as they issued a challenge letter to DOL. Surgery's next week and I'm out of work all summer.
So, it's Mike? Mike, I got good news for you, okay? First, where are you located, Mike? Just let us know and Gini will tell me. But your supervisor can do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. It doesn't really matter because 2 things. Number 1, if they make a false claim, they can be imprisoned and fined. Okay, anybody who makes a false claim in connection with an OWCP claim or a false statement can be fined, imprisoned, or both. So keep that in mind. Number 2, the evidence considered will be heavily weighted towards the doctor. So as long as you go to a doctor who writes a great narrative, the great narrative will trump any claim or any statement by a supervisor. Supervisors cannot get your claim denied if you have a doctor who knows what they're doing. They just can't do it.
Mary Golden said, management is irrelevant when you come here. No claims denied.
Thank you, Mary. That's right. We have a minor amount of respect for management. I mean, very little, almost none. Probably none. As human beings, I guess I have some respect for them as humans. Outside of that, I just couldn't care less. I don't lose sleep over them. I don't think about them. If they complain, I don't care. If they're unhappy, I'm probably happier because of it. So it doesn't really matter. Don't worry about management. Do the right thing for yourself because they're doing what they think is in their best interest. You do what's in yours. And that's go find the right doctor and get your claim approved. That's it. Everything else be damned. Go get your claim approved.
Dorinda said, what do I need to tell my work comp doctor that DOL does approve physical therapy and chiro visit at the same time? When I mentioned that OWCP states that as long as he ordered both services, I should be able to receive both. I'm currently paying out of pocket for chiro visits. When I mentioned OWCP, he squinched his eyes and said DOL won't do it. I asked him then, why did you order it then? No response.
Where are you located too? I'd like a chance to help you. I can't explain why your doctor does what they do. The answer to why is that doctor's untrained. That's really the reason. And because trained doctors know better. I mean, look, we have 35 offices right now listed on our website, and the vast majority of them have a chiropractor in the office. We know a little bit about this. A little bit, more than everyone else combined.
Rich Ray said, I was driving home but listening in. Jeannie and Chris are always welcomed in my union hall. I'm not happy hearing about them asking you to leave. That makes me angry. Thank you for helping my carriers. So far, everyone then came to Injury Center has been a success. Thank you for everything, and it costs my membership not even $1.
That's right, that's the deal, and thanks for saying that, Rich. And by the way, Rich, I hadn't forgotten what you told me. You've made me promise to get an office up there. We've been working our tails off, and we went to a seminar when we were in Dallas, like 2 months ago. 2 months ago, we met a guy there who actually I had talked to before, but we kind of reconnected. And lo and behold, this guy is up there right now in the process of getting the paperwork for New York. So we're working real hard on it. We actually have somebody that's already said yes. We just have to go through the steps, and you're in New York, so there's like extra hoops to jump through. But we're like real close. We can see the finish line.
CC Wadley said, is carpal tunnel a work comp claim? If so, how do I start? I'm in need of a work comp doctor in Virginia.
So absolutely it's a work comp claim. 100%. It's a CA2 almost always. So you go to your supervisor and tell them you want to fill out a CA2, get copies of everything, and then find a doctor. We do have only one doctor listed in Virginia. We've got 3 listed in Maryland. You may find somebody closer to you. I fully understand that. You need to choose who's best for you. But go check it out. If it works for you, great. Give us a call. If not, give somebody a call.
Ron Speakman said, Mike Fox is out of my office, Pennsylvania, because you asked where he was from. There's a doctor.
Okay. Ron, what's up?
No, you have to tell Mike if he wants to go
No,
to.
it's Ron. Ron's my buddy.
But that guy works out of his post office.
Yeah.
So they could go to Massachusetts right now.
That's a rough drive. What she's saying is if you wanted to go to Massachusetts, you could.
Or Maryland.
Or Maryland. Yeah, I mean, I know it's a tough drive. I'm not trying to tell you where to go. You decide for yourself. But if you go to federalinjurycenters.com and you see a location that works for you, call the number.
Leonard said, I'm in New York City and I'm having a very hard time finding a doctor to do an impairment rating on me with the 6th edition of the AMA guide for the upper extremities. My approved case was in 2016, and I have a federal comp lawyer that I've paid at least $23,000 to since 2016. I feel they're stringing me along to keep changing me and my money. They set me up with 2 doctors that has never panned out.
I'm curious who the lawyer is. Number 1, number 2. I heard you say you're in New York. The good news is you have as long as you're alive to do a schedule award, so you're not going to run out of time. So that's good, all right? Just stay alive. You can always get your schedule award as long as you're still living. Number 2, you can go anywhere. You could fly anywhere or drive anywhere to get a schedule award. You don't have to get it from a doctor in New York. You could fly to Alaska and get a schedule award. You could fly to Hawaii and get a schedule award, Florida, wherever. You can go to far off places to get a schedule award. So if you feel like you're just stuck, you can get unstuck by finding somebody who will take your case on and who's trained in the 6th edition. So if you find somebody like that, you can go anywhere you want and get your schedule award. And no offense to your lawyer, but nobody can really stop you. It's your healthcare. You can go anywhere you want.
Sonia said, do you have an office in Georgia?
Yeah, we have 3 offices in Georgia. Savannah, Forest Park, which is like South Atlanta, and the other one, it's not really Georgia, but it's like Phoenix City and Columbus. It's right on the border there. So if you're near there, go check it out. But again, go to federalinjurycenters.com and look at the list of offices, and if you find something that's close to you, give them a call. If not, Google it. And if you have to go to Google, you search OWCP injury doctor in your city and state.
Ron said, I'm working on my federal disability. I'm now on temporary modified job assignment, but will this affect my federal disability filed?
No. So federal disability comes from the Office of Personnel Management. The other thing comes from the Department of Labor, and then you work for your agency. So they're all different agencies. So no, it won't affect you.
Kelly said, I filled out the form to get reimbursed for travel to and from my doctor appointment, and DOL has denied this as well. The claims examiner said it's too far. I go to Ellis Clinic in Oklahoma City, and it's 284 miles round trip. I live in rural Oklahoma, and when I Googled federal work comp clinic near me, I got Dr. Ellis. I even looked on DOL website and put in family medicine physician, and it said, there were none within 100 miles. Should they have paid my travel, or can they refuse? They can refuse. The rule says they pay up to 100 miles round trip, which means they can refuse. Now, in advance of that, you could have, and look, hindsight's 20/20, but this is a training site for other people, so now other people are listening to me. If you have to go more than 100 miles, you can call your claim examiner in advance and get what's called prior authorization or pre-authorization, and you can ask your claims examiner to approve your 284 miles round trip because there's no other doctors. And you could say, well, alternatively, find somebody for me. If Dr. Ellis, who, by the way, I know Dr. Ellis, but
If Dr. Ellis is too far and you won't pay me for my travel, well, who can I go to? And put it back on the claims examiner. And when they don't find somebody you can go to, maybe they'll be more likely to pay your mileage. And that's an OWCP 957 form for those of you that don't know. There's a place on there for 3 different round trips. So you need as many of those forms as you can get. And you can get all those at federalinjurycenters.com as well. And at OWCPchats.com. We have all the forms listed.
James Colbert said, thank you guys. I got my claim accepted only for strains from my shoulder. I found a new amazing doctor in Beaverton, Oregon.
Great.
Shaw used to live there.
Congratulations. I'm really glad. Now, keep this in mind. If it's a strain and that's your approved condition, but let's say an MRI shows there's a tear, you need to get a diagnosis expansion done and add that more extreme or more severe diagnosis to your claim, because like if you're surgical, and I'm not saying you are, I hope you're not, but if you are, they'll never approve surgery on a strain, but they would approve it on, say, for example, a rotator cuff tear. So make sure you have the correct, highest level valid diagnosis on your list of approved diagnoses.
Sonia says, I want to bid covered OWCP restrictions. So what must I make sure I have in place that the agency can't discriminate me because of that?
Read it again.
I want to bid. Here.
It's okay, you can read it.
I want to bid, parentheses, covered OWCP restriction, parentheses. So what I must make sure I have in place that the agency can't discriminate me because of that.
Okay, so you want to bid on another job is I think what you're trying to say, or whatever, right? Or another route or whatever, assuming you're a postal employee. Whatever the new job is, you got to make sure it matches your restrictions, number one, on the CA-17 if you have any. And then you want to get your union involved too and make sure that you're being treated fairly. Union reps, when it comes to disputes with management, have the same authority as management, okay? So definitely use them. And if you feel like you are being discriminated against, or if you're not sure, you can contact EEO and ask. They have EEO counselors where you can just tell the story and ask. There's no harm done if you talk to them and they say, yeah, you don't really have a claim. That's fine. But you can ask, because that's what they're there for. These people get paid to sit around and wait on you to call.
Jerry said, as Chris will tell you, they tried this with me as well. I wrote a letter detailing efforts I made to find a doctor in the rural area I was in, and there were none that would take my OWCP.
Jerry's had to drive hours to get to a doctor.
They now pay me round trip of 408 miles total.
That's right. So, that's just because Jerry refuses to take no for an answer. And I think everyone should be more like her when it comes to that. Probably when it comes to lots of things, but definitely that.
Tona said, thank you for the much needed help. I've been praying for Gini and her family.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. We both do.
However, since there are no federal injury centers, I feel I need to start looking for another job. My surgeon says his dictation is good enough. I've exhausted all avenues.
Where are you located?
Vegas.
That's Las Vegas. Sorry, I just, under my breath, said a bad word. Yeah, look, I'd like to actually try to help you. So send us a message on Facebook. Send us a Facebook message, and let us know how to get a hold of you so that we can take a look at what's going on with you. I'd hate for you to have to leave your job because of a work injury. That sucks. So I'd like to help you before you get to that. What else?
Carol said, how detailed should your 3112A be when applying for disability retirement as a carrier to streamline the process? I already have an approved OWCP case and permanent disability. Thanks.
How detailed should it be? All the way detailed. Now, for more information about OPM disability, which is Federal Disability Retirement, I recommend contacting Eric Blowers. Eric is all of our friend. He's our lawyer. Yours too, if you want him to be. But he is by far the foremost expert on federal disability. Okay, so if you want his information, Jeannie can post that here, and anybody can give him a call. Hope that helps.
Teresa said, I thought there was a federal injury center in Texas. I
There
don't
are.
see it listed on your site.
Oh yeah, it's at the bottom. So on federal injury centers, it's listed by state alphabetically. And when you get down to Texas, you'll see Dallas and McKinney.
Mary Golden said, who can I talk to concerning OWCP retirement versus OPM retirement.
Yeah, you can talk to Eric, Mary. If you just want to understand OWCP retirement versus federal disability retirement, it basically goes like this. OWCP retirement doesn't exist. You just kind of quit your job or retire. That's it. Federal disability retirement's a different thing because you can get paid 60% of your income in year one, 40% of your income after year one each year, and at the same time you can get a non-federal job and make up to 80% of your previous income. In my second book, I talk a lot about OPM disability at length about this, so you should check that out at breakingowcp.com.
Tanya says, the hell with the contract union I'm used to. You all are so wonderful, way better than them. Trust me, I know, as I'm a 30-year employee.
Well, I appreciate the compliment. I just don't want to say bad things about the union. I appreciate them, but I appreciate your positive comments. Thank you.
Teresa says she found it at the Texas office.
Okay, great, fantastic.
Talisha Locklear said, I've been to an orthopedic doctor for carpal tunnel. I didn't use work comp at first. Can I still file for it now? You
can. You have 3 years from the date you knew your carpal tunnel was work-related. 3 years from the date you knew it was work-related to file a CA2. Hear me. You have 3 years from the date you knew it was work-related to file a CA2. If it's more than 3 years, you can't do it. But if you report your injury within 3 years of knowing it was work-related, you still can do it and you can get all your money back using an OWCP 915 form.
She also said, I have to have surgery for this condition and my doctor says it's work-related. I have been using my own insurance. What paperwork do I even start with? Help and thanks.
Okay, CA2, go to your supervisor, fill out a CA2, get a copy of everything. Then choose your doctor, go to your doctor, have your doctor write a narrative report explaining your condition, get your claim approved, make sure that they get carpal tunnel approved and not like a sprain or a strain, and then have your doctor refer you to a surgeon, whatever surgeon does that. The surgeon will get pre-authorization for the surgery, and as long as your claim's approved, your surgery will be approved. It'll be a long process for you, okay? But if you'll go report your injury tomorrow, and as long as tomorrow is less than 3 years since when you knew it was work-related, then you'll be fine. You'll be able to get this claim accepted, and you'll be able to get the treatment you need. Bless you.
Thank you. Great book, by the way. Who can I call for help?
Well, give us a Facebook message. The question is, who do I call for help? And great book. Thank you for saying it's a great book. Just send us a Facebook message, and we'll have somebody give you a call. Be sure that you leave your email address and your phone number.
Elisa Moore said, for the love of God, my boyfriend is slowly getting crippled due to a nerve problem. Accepted for chest wall strain. Clinic doctors not handling comp case properly. Union here is no help at all. We agree not all unions are the same. Crying because he needs help ASAP and out 18 months. Doctors keep sending to other doctors who just kick him down the wrong road. He really needs your help. He's a good, smart man, stuck in an injury mess.
Well, we want to help then. So I need to know where you're located, and I need you also to send us a private message on Facebook. Include your email and good phone number.
Mary Golden said, okay, I got the book. Gonna read it. Laugh. Just playing. I have consumed the book like they were Southern comfort foods.
I'm sure you've memorized every word of every page, Mary. What else we got?
That's awesome fun. You
Well,
said you were going to talk about. I don't know why.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I do want to say this. All right, we're going to be wrapping it up. But hang in there with me because, especially if you're in Florida, this is going to be really important. It's important to me. I don't want to sound like a bad sport, because I'm not. I am. Actually, I'm a terrible sport. Are you kidding me? I hate losing. Losing sucks so bad. I mean, it sucks so bad. I've been this way my entire life. As a kid, I was like 5'5", in high school, 5'6". I'm not much taller than that now. And as a freshman and a sophomore, I was MVP of my varsity track team. I made the varsity track team as a freshman, beating out a lot of seniors. As a kid, that's a big deal. I did that because I refused to lose. I puked every single day in practice. I didn't care. I could not be beaten. And so I wasn't, because I just mentally could not do it. And I never stopped being that guy, you know? And so I just hate losing. I'll do anything to win legally, right? So I'm saying that to say this. If you're in Florida and you go to an office that claims to be federal injury centers but isn't, I'd like you to let me know. If you go to an office that says, oh yeah, we're federal injury centers, and they're not, I'd like you to let me know. And if you're in an office that has a name that is a variation of federal injury centers, but it's not federal injury centers, and maybe it's got another word in there because you're getting treatment, and so that word's in there, that's not federal injury centers. And I think it's important to know because we set ourselves apart from everyone else by the fact that we get all your claims approved. It's a big deal to us. And if someone else is trying to pass themselves off as us and they're not us, I need to know. Because if you think that they are part of federal injury centers and then they kill your case, you're going to be mad at me. I can't have that, okay? So if anybody hears of, especially in Florida, any office that's passing themselves off as us or making you try to think that they are us, let me know, because they're not. Our offices are very clearly federal injury centers, and you can find them on our website, federalinjurycenters.com. Unfortunately, some of my ideas have been stolen, and they're being, used, which is, it's benefiting you if they do a good job. But, it's like the honor system. And
they hijacked our training material.
It's the honor system, and there was a lack of honor on one side and an abundance of it on the other, mine. So anyways, I just wanted to put that out there. And if you're driving hours to get to the doctor in Florida, stop that. You don't have to keep doing it. You can look at federalinjurycenters.com and see if there's an office that you like that's close to you, so you can be on the clock more, and you can stop jumping through hoops to get paid. People fail in workers' comp when they struggle for money. You can stop struggling for money if you're on the clock, because they have to pay you. It's the law. It's federal law. They have to pay you when you're clocked in. So we're making it possible for you to get paid, 6 out of 8 hours instead of 4 out of 8 hours, or whatever, when you're able to work all 8.
This is the last question.
Okay, so, I hope you don't take me as a spoiled brat or as a sore loser, because I don't lose, and I'm not losing here either, ever. And when I win, you won. So we win together.
Jayla, you can go to Dallas, Texas. We have an office in Dallas, Texas.
The other way to put that, because we're not a referral service, is you can check federalinjurycenters.com. If you see an office location that makes sense to you, dial the number that's on there. It'll go directly to the office. You can talk to the doctor yourself.
And then Dorinda said, what is the difference between an injury center versus a work comp clinic, Tallahassee, Florida here?
I don't know the difference between a federal injury center and a work comp clinic. Okay, this is my gut feeling because I don't know what clinic you're referring to, but most work comp clinics are referring to state workers' comp, not federal. Most workers' comp clinics that I talk to say federal's terrible and they don't do it, or they've never even heard of it, which is funny. If you go to a clinic and they don't know what OWCP is, leave. If they don't know what e-comp is, leave. If they don't know what, these forms are, get the heck out of there, because you're going to get a claim denied. That's my recommendation. Now, if they can answer all those questions positively, man, you may be in the right place. You may be.
If they can hear me, thank you guys all for your condolences. I really appreciate it. It's been very hard for this entire family.
It has been. It's been a struggle keeping my head off of this desk in front of me. You can't see, but yeah, thanks for that.
Thank you.
All right, what other questions do we have?
That's it. We're done.
Well, everyone, I appreciate you being here tonight. I ran, 10 minutes late, which I was happy to do. We haven't seen you in 3 weeks. Thank you for your attention, for being here, for your questions. For your well wishes, we really appreciate that. We love you as much as you love us. I think you know that. If you don't, now you do. And we plan on being back here next Wednesday, although we're going to be traveling all over the state of Florida to finalize some training in some new offices. The plan is to be in Ocala next week. We're going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and Naples for sure next week. That's going to be tough. It's going to be like the Great American Florida Road Trip. We did this a while back. A couple of years ago, we did Chris and Jeannie's excellent adventure.
OWCP.
Excellent OWCP adventure. So we'll be doing Chris and Jeannie's excellent Florida OWCP adventure next week. So we'll let you know where we're going to be, when we're going to be there, and if you happen to be in Ocala, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, or Naples, or anywhere near there, we would sure love it if you came by and said hi.
I'll post it.
She's going to post it. We love meeting up with you in person. It's our favorite thing to do. So stay tuned.
Hold on. Rich Ray said, sorry for your loss. I lost my mother this year. I feel your pain.
Thanks, Rich. Sorry about that. Sorry for your loss, too.
Yeah. Brianne said, what would treatment for your skin cancer fall under, especially if it's work-related?
Treatment for skin cancer if it's work-related. I mean, you have to prove that it was a result of work, and I'm not a doctor. I don't know how to do that. However, I'm fairly sure it'd be a CA2. I doubt that something like that would happen over a single shift. So if you have a skin cancer condition, it's work-related, it'd be a CA2. But I can tell you, you're going to have a hard time with the very, very, very best doctor proving that it's work-related. I'm not saying it's impossible, but man, it's going to be tough.
Tell her to call us.
Give us a call, but when you do, I'm probably still going to say it's going to be tough. Not impossible, but tough. I can tell you what the narrative report would have to contain if it were going to be approved.
Where in Naples are you going to be?
The address is on federalinjurycenters.com. Naples is our newest office location. They are not fully trained yet. That's what I'm going there to do. They will be after I'm finished. But check out federalinjurycenters.com, and the address and phone number are listed there. And the Naples doctor doesn't even know that I'm going to be there yet. They have no idea. We'll let everybody know in the next couple of days that we're coming.
And then Dorinda said, please come to Tallahassee, Florida. Don't forget us.
No, we're not forgetting you. We love Tallahassee. We were up there.
Don't they know we have a doctor?
Yeah, we have an office in Tallahassee. Go check it out at federalinjurycenters.com. You can get the address and phone number there too. But in a couple of weeks, we plan on being in Tallahassee as well. My goal will be to spend some time Pensacola, Tallahassee, Gainesville, Jacksonville, because we've got offices in all 4 of those locations. So I'd like to be able to get that done in another week where I have to kind of drive back and forth across the Panhandle from one side to the next. But yeah, there's an office in Tallahassee, and we're definitely going to be there in the next couple of weeks, 100%.
What's the phone number to contact us?
Well, you can contact us at 877-787-OWCP, which is 6927, 877-787-6927. But if you're calling us to find a doctor, just know that we're going to direct you to federalinjurycenters.com or to Google, at which point you will search OWCP injury doctor in your city and state. We're not a referral service. It's not even legal to be a referral service. We value compliance at the highest level. Everything we do has compliance as part of it. So including your choice of physician. So we respect that it's your right to initially select a doctor. If you call and say, where's your doctor? I'm just going to say, please go to the website. And if there's a location that works for you, give it a call. I have to do that to stay in compliance, but what do you like about that? I'm glad you asked. When you go to a Federal Injury Center's office, you don't have to look over your shoulder and wonder, is somebody watching? Or is this doctor getting looked at? Not with us. Not with us. Everything is done with compliance at the highest priorities. So that's why I do that. I'm not trying to be evasive. I'm not trying to be difficult. We've made a really, really super website, federalinjurycenters.com and OWCPchats.com, and you can find the locations there. But if you just have general questions, please give us a call. We want to help.
Donna Smith from California. I will have Chris answer your question after the live. So
Hey Donna, yeah, I'm a good reader. That's going to take me a minute, and then I'll answer your question.
When are you guys coming to Ocala?
I think Ocala, unless they tell me no, we plan on going to Ocala on Monday. Unless Ocala says we're closed, or I doubt it. Okay, they're great folks. So I plan on going on Monday.
California needs you, please.
Oh, we know. California is the highest population of any state in the country. It's got more population than a lot of countries.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have a single doctor. We know it. We're working on being registered as a franchise in California, at which point we'll be able to start getting doctors in that state. It's like New York. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. Being a franchisor like me, going to New York and California is like being you jumping through hoops to get paid. It's like crazy. There's a lot of places you can go where it's no problem, but California and New York is just rough.
Juan Lewis said, "Thank you tremendously. Your
You're welcome,
wise
Juan.
advice significantly contributed to my OWCP COVID benefits. By the way, I love your books. Thank you again."
Well, thanks for saying that. I appreciate you saying you love the books. These books were not meant to be entertaining. As the author of them, I don't find them entertaining, but they're really informative. And what I did was I broke down a very confusing, complicated system that, as Tom says, it's like it has confusion built into it. And I broke it down in terms that we can all understand, that everybody can understand. And people that get this book stop having problems because the problems are solved in here. So go to breakingowcp.com. I know that if you're like me, you don't have a money tree in the back, and sometimes it's tight. I've made these books as cheap as I possibly can so that I don't lose money on them, and so I can just keep printing them as I run out. And so I've got them priced just as low as I can, and I pay for shipping. So the point is, I'm trying to make it easy for you to get to them. So take a look at breakingowcp.com. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been behind on shipping stuff out, and I apologize. If you're somebody that in the last 2 weeks ordered a book and it was there really late, sorry about that. It's just we had so much things we just couldn't see coming. Slowed me down. But I'm back here now. I got my postage printer right here. I've got all my packaging, my books ready to go. I found a close post office I can mail things from because I only use USPS. And I'm ready to go. So go to breakingowcp.com and you can buy both books for $17.95 and free shipping.
Ron Speakman said, "I got you in New York and Philly."
All right, Ron. Well, let's talk about that. I appreciate that.
Don
Ron Speakman is a good guy. This guy's a Marine, and he's another example that does not take no for an answer. It's a man after my own heart.
Donna Smith said, "Thank you. I appreciate you so much. It's been hell. I have bought both books, 2 copies to share with coworkers."
Oh, that's really great. I appreciate that. And so, she's sharing the book. She got an extra copy for others. And, I really appreciate that. And if we go, this is important for you to know, if we go to, say, like a union meeting, and if we're invited to teach, I always bring free books for the local union that's asked me to come out. So if you guys want us to come out, we'd like to do that. We're flying now. Although, man, we were just flying back from New Jersey. It felt like we were flying into the hurricane before it got here. It was the most turbulence, except for this one time we were flying, not this time, and the plane literally went like that and back. I thought I was dead. Like when I landed, I was really surprised I was still alive. Turbulence makes me nuts, and it was real bad this last time. But we still fly anywhere to help you out, and we do that at no cost to you. So if anybody wants to have us out, please invite us. Let's get you on the schedule, and I'll bring free books to the local when we do that.
Rich Ray said, "The books and you guys have been a blessing for my letter carriers. We seriously appreciate you."
Thanks, Rich, and I appreciate you too. And let me know when you want to have another late night Zoom call. We're in. All right, folks, it's 9:20. Went 20 minutes long, which I was happy to do. But now I'm going to let you go. You all get back to your families, and I'm going to go back to doing, I don't know, maybe nothing. Anyways, have a good night. Thanks. Oh, don't push that.
I'm not yet.
That's Jeannie's finger you just saw there.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, there she is. Yeah. All right, anyways, if you have more questions, keep posting them. You can send us Facebook messages and 877-787-OWCP. All right, thanks. Check out breakingowcp.com, federalinjurycenters.com, and OWCPchats.com. That's all the .coms I have for you tonight.
Lisa Moore, email us at info@federalinjurycenters.com. And she said, "I'm crying so much. Finding you guys is a blessing." And the phone number is 877-787-OWCP. Hi.
Ron Jackson is saying hi. Hello, Ron. We miss you too. We're really happy you're here. Ron is always with us. Thank you so much. Thanks to Jerry, to Mary, to Rich, to Ron, If I didn't say your
Everybody.
name, it's not because I don't love you. It's hard for me to see all the names that are here, but we really appreciate you all being here. And if you're in Chicago, don't forget to go to the open house July 14th. All right, we'll see you next week. Everyone have a great night and great rest of your week, and stay safe. And don't let your supervisors hose you.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye.